Hello, everybody. So, in this podcast, I welcome Mr. Gavin Aquilina. He's the director of the Vision PT, one of the biggest chains in Australia. He's the head of close to 500 PTs. And we're talking about the problems they have to deal with right now because the anxiety of the members, psychologically, the stress to the employees. So, what happens in Australia? It's a very interesting episode of this podcast. So please join this 60 minutes and then subscribe to the channel and share it all over the world. So I hope you enjoy it. See you and good to have you here. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is Mark Roder from the Tailormade podcast, the fitness industry podcast from Germany. Usually you guys on the screen are, you expect the German language, but we have 3 experts in 3 countries, and these are the superhero stars from my network, which I've created in the last 25 years when I was in the industry. But there are a lot of guys, they are icons, let me say. And today I met him in my early stages of the Life Fitness Academy, and I think he is in person the Life Fitness Academy because he traveled in over 40 countries around the world and delivered all these high quality courses, not just for the LFA. He's a board member in the Australian health and fitness industry. He's the leader of the education of the Life Fitness Academy. He finished, I think, around 7,000 Ironmans. So he has a lot of medals around his neck. Please, he should introduce himself with a few more words. Introduce Mr. Gavin Aquilina from Australia. Gavin, nice to have you on the little podcast show. Hello.
Great to be on here. Thanks so much for inviting me to be on and to have a chat to your community. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Right now, we have the COVID situation around the world, and this is minimum one part of this conversation. But I don't want to drop it like the COVID discussion goes every time I talk to people. It's like, at the end, everybody is sad, and he's maybe crying and all that stuff. And I want a different point of view right now from your perspective, from your point of view in Australia. What does the health system doing? How is the system supporting the PTs, and what is the maybe a difficult situation in the gym? Maybe you're reopened after the shutdown or maybe not. So we will talk about and get some, I think, very high quality insights. And for the guys on the screen, you know, I'm not a native speaker and he's Australian, so please forgive me. If I ask Gavin again, he tried to speak a very nice English, but for me, it's hard to understand sometimes. And please be kind with me. Gavin.
So my German isn't good either, mate.
So it's absolutely a pleasure. And I think we will get it. Last time we met in LA, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. For the Academy, it would have been during URSA.
Yes.
Yeah.
The absolutely amazing opening of the Synergy, I think, huh? We released the Synergy there, is that?
Yeah, we released the Synergy. And then I remember we were jumping between 2 locations. I can't remember maybe doing a hammer ground base demo as well as a Synergy or something. I think we're jumping between those. But
we jumped a lot.
Yeah, we did, mate. We did. Yeah.
So, please. Introduce your role. I think I forgot something of your actual job description. Please give us a short insight of your what's your work today.
Yeah, so I am a Life Fitness Academy Global Master Trainer, as you mentioned. Another major part of my role at the moment is head of PT operations for Vision Personal Training. We're the largest chain of PT studios in Australia. We have 60 studios and about 500 trainers that work for us. Along with that, a board member for Fitness Australia, as you mentioned. And I also have what I call the WIRE Fitness, Fat Loss and Metabolism, which drove off doing some online summits about 2 years ago as well.
Mm-hmm. And so right now in your position as a director for Vision, what is the actual situation? What's your daily task? What is the challenge?
Yeah, so There was I'm actually head of the strength and conditioning for one of our top level rugby clubs as well. So that's also an interesting when we talk about COVID and trying to return to play. There's some challenges there.
Yeah.
Within vision, and I suppose like if I put a little bit of a twist on it, yeah, COVID is bad. It's caused a lot of death in the world.
Yeah.
We flipped it though, and we said, okay, it's forced a lot of people to move very quickly in a different direction. And we know the world's not going to be the same. And so realistically, we could look at it as it's bad, or is there opportunity that it's made us all find in the market that's never going to go away?
Yeah.
And I suppose I like to look at the upside. Look at, okay, we are going to come out of it. The world is going to come out. Is it going to be the same? It's not going to be the same. Have a lot of people suffered badly? Yes, they have. And it's absolutely awful. But with that said, as we come out, is there going to be opportunity that wasn't present, or some of us hadn't looked at before and gone, wait up, there's a chance here? And I think it's important to sometimes look at things a little bit differently and to try and take a positive out of a otherwise negative situation.
Yeah, but Gavin, sorry for that. You finished 17 Ironmans and a lot of more. I don't have a clue how much marathons you've done. I did one, yeah. And when I saw the finishing line, I was so fucking happy because I did it and I was able to stop move anymore. Yeah, in your head things are different. Trust me, people around the world, when you're watching this, Gavin's head is different. Yeah, but that's. Okay, to make it a little bit more serious, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you have a task and you're not facing the problem, you're facing the solution. Yeah, this gives you a lot of more resources. I think when you start to run, you think, hey, I did one step, I'm close to the finishing line. Yeah, and if you start like that, it's always an opportunity, and that's a huge. And I think for me, it's the main thing which changed in my mind when I started the NLP studies. Yeah, I've learned to just start in a different way. Tell us, please, when you had the problem and the government told you to shut down the clubs, yeah, in your position as the PT, the leader of the PT organization, what was the first thought in your head?
Okay, so I suppose the first thought was, what can we do for our guys to try and keep them ahead of the curve to minimize the impact? And it wasn't so much, we didn't wait till they said close down. We said, you know what, we could see, to a degree we're fortunate, we could see how the pandemic was going through Europe. And it was probably about a week and a half before they said shut down that we turned around to our network and we said, okay, we're going online. This is how we're doing it. Yeah. And it was very interesting because nothing has really moved that quick before. And you had the opportunity where if you reached out to your database, your clients, your members, and said, hey, we're going online, this is what we're doing, it's going to be business as usual, you had the ability to exceed their expectation, where they'd turn around and go, wow, look at what you guys are doing. That's amazing. Okay, you're online. And they got to wrap their head around it before things really got serious out there in the marketplace. But it was interesting because if you waited another week and a half to 2 weeks, what was exceptional as far as service then became expected. And so it was a very, like, a dynamic like that doesn't really exist that often. If you're out there in front, you're looking good, you're looking like you're an innovator and you're making things happen versus a predictive. And so we were really conscious about getting as many of our guys out in front as quickly as possible and announcing it to their clients, because if they announced it to them before the gyms were shut down and the studios were shut down, the client had the opportunity to say yes. If they didn't, then the client immediately thought, I want to suspend my membership. And it was much harder then to try and go, well, wait, no, you should try this online thing. And they're like, yeah, no, I want to suspend. The government's just said. So it was a very different conversation that was had if you did get out in front of it. And that's what we tried to do for all our studios.
I think this was one of the biggest challenge, or that is the biggest challenge for all the managers around, to looking like a leader. You have to act like a leader, and if you're acting like a leader, you have to you should be one step ahead. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look smart and you want to look like you have everything under control, yeah, that's the business of a leader, to be one step ahead of all others. And the member, a very nice point, thank you, Gavin, for that, is the member feels guided if you gave him the opportunity and you have these one or two options and tell him, hey, this will happen, try this, try that, we have a solution. Yeah. And how long, for me interesting, how long do you needed to set up the Zoom, or however you deliver it, the Zoom conferences? How long does it take? 24 hours to whatever?
To get the guys going on Zoom, we probably had our first seminar on it. Like, we run everything through iPads, and we've got a digital platform, and we just turned around and went, okay, here, and as a franchise, we want everyone to be doing the same thing. So it's not ad hoc. We're really conscious that what we were going to deliver online was not the same as what we delivered in studio, because if we're trying to deliver the same thing, it then allows the client to compare the two products and go, well, it's not really the same thing. I don't know if I really want to know. That's not right. So we made sure we differed it in exercises, which was necessary, then also timings of it, and the timings were different. And so it had this very different makeup to it. And so initially it was just a PDF document. We held a Zoom session for our network and had about 350 trainers on board for that one, which was pretty awesome. We were only like 80% of our network was on there, a bit more. And so they were all on there. We said, hey, look, here's the session. Here they are in PDF. We're getting it put into the technology. Previously, our appointment books and everything have been locked down for a privacy reason, so that they couldn't access it outside of studio. We said, if there's a lockdown, the ability to run your sessions outside is going to get lifted, so you can do it. So it was probably about 3 or 4 days, and a lot of the guys reacted really, really well. Some resisted, but most reacted really, really well. So it's pretty quick.
I like the idea of, hey, we have to create another product. This shouldn't be similar to the experience in the gym. So we set it up in a different way. Maybe we choose different time intervals, or we need another introduction. Well, how can we cover the expectations of the member in an online session? So we have to guide him. We have to give him the understanding of what's possible. Yeah. And what should he expect to win or to lose in this session? And it shouldn't be the same. Like, it's not a body styling class. It's not similar as the group X that we delivered, because it's different because there is a screen in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And it was really interesting. And I suppose if I put a learning process into it, we sort of said, okay, here's all the sessions, and you can do any of these. And we should have said, hey, look, here's session 1, do this for 3 or 4 sessions, because they had to teach the person via distance, and the person's just getting comfortable with the movement. So you don't want to keep on changing it. And that was probably one of the learnings that we could have said. Some of them linked into this really quickly. But yeah, that was, it was a big change, and in a lot of change in other areas of their life, we want to make it as less stressful as possible, because there's a lot of stress other places. We want this to be the place where, hey, they can come, they can train, they can feel good, and it's reasonably easy for them to implement.
Very, very interesting, because with the Health Expert Alliance, this is our PT network here. We spoke with a few experts, 7 on an online meeting. And they told they changed the way to communicate with the member. The interaction, for sure, there is no hands-on, and a few of them decided to put more attention on the verbal channel, let me say, And
Yeah.
I was the only one, and I said, no, guys, I reduced the verbal communication and I increased my body language in front of the camera. I said,
Yep.
we
Good.
don't think so because what's the name? Nick Winkelman, yeah, the
Yep.
language of coaching, blah blah blah. I say, see, if you're born and you're as a baby, it's just communicating via your eyes. That's absolutely typically, yeah, you learn by watching others, yeah, and you're not
Yep.
communicating via the verbal channel. So I decide to do the pantomime stuff with
Yep.
my members and reduce the informations, because they should follow by watching me and not follow by listening to me. That's how I decided. What's your recommendation for this? It's a little tip for all the PTs around the world, because this is international. This is Australia.
I really think it's actually sort of the cream. The cream's risen to the top here. I think a lot of trainers, and I call them the good trainers, the one who stand there with the client and they stand next to them and the person's doing a movement and they go, good, good, good. Or the professional counter who goes, 1, 2, good. And so you've got, and I sort of look at the combination, because as far as setting your camera up, you need to set it up so that you are able to be far enough back so you can give them the visual, you can do the movement, and they can see exactly what the movement is. But when they're changing plane of motion, then I want to be able to use a verbal cue as well to make sure they're executing. So the two of them become powerful. The thing, I just had another training just 2 days ago for our network on the group training aspect. And the thing is, if I see a trainer and they're sitting, and I've seen some of them sit there and they're trying to train somebody by just looking at the computer, I'm like, wow, like the energy for you is low, which means the energy for your client can't stay up there. Whereas if I'm moving and I'm dynamic, it's giving energy to them at the same time, and I'm coming back, coming in. I'm like, that's it, beautiful. That's giving right. So I'm using the verbals, and then I'm pulling back. All right, the next one's going to be. So that combination of the two becomes really, really important. And the issue that some trainers did have was they don't have the verbal cues. And it's funny, like I'm massive. You hear our network all talk about it. Like we've all got almost the same setup points: chin, neutral, chest, high, stomach raise, shoulders down. Having this consistency, but understanding the underlying anatomy so that they can give just a few really effective verbal cues, not verbal diarrhea, that are going to make it safe and effective. And that's where, and it becomes the anatomy. And people go, why are we doing so much anatomy? I said, it's because you can be a better coach. The skill of a coach is taking the complex, transferring it to the client in really simple teaching cues so that it's safe and effective. And they've got no idea how damn smart you are.
Yeah. Nothing to say. I totally agree. For sure, I talk to the customer. Yeah, but first of all, that's exactly the point. I think that's the cherry on the top of the cake. It's to make complex movements, to break it down into very easy verbal cueings and support it via your body. Because if you start to move, the opponent of the other side starts to move too. And if you're just standing there and you talk, everybody in front of the screen will stand there and will listen. Because you stand there and you talk. That's exactly the point. And the good combination to make complex things, to break it down into easy cues, that's the main thing, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny, I don't often sit down, but I've got a good wall here that I can sit down with. But if I just sort of bring across, like I've got a stand-up desk in at the office, and I put my computer on top of there each time. You know, even when doing a seminar, like for my network, I'll make sure I'm standing up because it just gives that energy, and that's so very true. The energy mark.
Yeah. So keep it in mind for the PTs outside. Move. Yeah. If you want to activate people, move yourself.
Yeah.
that's our whatever resource. It's a resource, and you have to drop it like a very it's a fine bomb, but you should use that to enlighten others. It's move your body.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
So from the PT, so a short curve back into the government stuff. What's the situation of the Australian health system right now? What is the support? What are the sanitarize rules? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
In your country, so they give them an idea of how you have to handle the situation.
Yeah. So we never had as extreme a lockdown as what you've had in Europe. We had lockdown. It was just supposed to be only essential workers went to work, and kids for essential workers could go to school.
Yeah.
Our trainers were able to do one-on-one sessions in the outdoors, but at the same time, from a psychological perspective, a lot of clients didn't want to do that. Yeah. One of our edicts also, because there's a judgment call. So we actually said to our network, you don't actually wear your uniform when you're doing it, because quite often people are making a judgment. You had to keep social distancing. You had to keep the 1.5 meters. There's no shared use of equipment. Our government turned around and they said, you know what, we've got to support small business. And they've made, billions and billions of dollars investment in the country. And they have supported, if a trainer has worked with a studio or as a trainer for 12 months or longer, the government is providing $750 each week in a way to buffer their income. Now they get that, the business gets that, the trainer gets that, whether they were doing 4 hours a week over the last 12 months or whether they're doing 20 hours a week or 30 hours. So that went a long way to supporting, if I look at it from our studios, to supporting a lot of our studios. They were waiting for that, over a 2-week period for some of the studios that provided them with like $15,000 of income because of the amount of trainers. So really important. The other part that the government said was that nobody could be evicted from their premise for not having rent payment. There had to be an agreement between landlord and tenant, and that had to be according to the figures as to what the business was doing. Some landlords have been really good. Some have said, look, don't worry about rent for 2 months. Others have turned around and said, look, give us a look at your books and, hey, your business is down 50%. We'll take it down 50%, but we'll put it onto the tail end for you. So the government's been exceptional. Just this today, actually, are we able to go out and train in a boot camp style format? There can be a maximum of 10 people. So 1 instructor and 9 clients. That is just lifted at the moment, but same thing, social distancing, no shared equipment, antiseptic wipes you've got to have available. As far as health clubs, we're probably about another 2 weeks off from our health clubs being able to open. And then if we looked at numbers, you'd probably find that it's not as bad. From what I've heard in the US, it could be as high as 25 to 30% may not open again at all. In Australia, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think it could be anywhere from maybe around 10% mark, may not open their doors again.
Yeah. The forecast for Europe was 30 to for Germany, sorry, was 30 to 40% will shut down and get ruined. Is that right? Get ruined.
Yep.
But I think it's around. We'll see. But I think it's not more than 10% of the gyms, and I think more later. Early or later, can I say that? They should shut down because the business is not on professional base. Yeah. So these 10%, it's a cleaning of the market, and I don't like the situation, and they don't like it too. But that's if you're not the cash business, you're not into it, and you just opened the gym and it's not professional, and you haven't enough cash back. Is that right? Or
yes, that's right.
Yeah. And you better choose another business at the end. Maybe it's helpful to have a finish line. Sorry for looking for words, but that's the situation here right now. In the long term, what do you see? Will the business, just right now, just for your own business, will your business change? How you work, your customers, The target groups, will they change? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this becomes part of the opportunity. And if I use an example, we are, PT facilities, normally with anywhere from, 120 to 200 clients doing anywhere from 200 to 400 sessions per week. We also offer group training. And when I first came in, I was like, because I only started working with this network about 2 years ago, and I was like, what are we doing group training for? That's for big box, but it's very much for building the community. And we're like, okay, well, if it's for community, how are our numbers? Are we getting enough people to mean we're validating community, because it's an expense on the business? And prior to the COVID pandemic, a lot of the studios might have been averaging anywhere from 4 to 8 clients to these sessions. And it's like, guys, that's like actually a small group PT session. And it's not a big community builder. Like, is it achieving our business objective? Now, when they do it online, the numbers have gone up to 12 to 15, at least during the week. And it's like, we're through chatting, we're going to keep it. And a lot of them are going to do a lot of online group training classes during the week. They might do 2 face-to-face. Saturdays on the weekend is when they get big numbers. They might get 25 to 30 clients come along. So they're going to keep the Saturdays, because that really does drive community. But the opportunity to keep the online is what they're going to be doing for the group training. And for those people who are traveling for work, that is also going to be another opportunity that is going to be in place. So yeah, there's definitely some great stuff. And I know from our HQ perspective, like, it's been a direction of mine since joining them, that we're basically have accelerated our setup of our own online training platform, which is using our tech, and we're really putting it's accelerated or brought up our timeline for that, which was probably about 6 to 12 months off, but would have been great 6 months ago to finish it. But it's not going away. The businesses aren't the same. And, those that are smart, they try and engage as many people as possible. And that's where we're putting a lot of time into training our people on these group training structures and how to engage them. And, even the concept of when you're doing a group session, can you use breakout rooms to put people into train in little mini modules? And how do you create community in the online? So it's definitely changing, I know, from our angle. And it's going to be interesting seeing in the other areas. I mean, there's some large chains that you see didn't really pivot that well. And in essence, and they're big chains, like, obviously not to name them, but you look at what they did and you're like, wow, like, that's kind of embarrassing what they've actually put out there. I don't know if the same's in Germany, but I know in Australia, there were some that were still trying to charge, and what they were charging for was so substandard for when you've got, so many facilities and so many members.
Yeah, but to link that to the human, it's attacking. Yeah. Or you're acting like this, or you run away. Yeah, these are the stress situations, or the acting of stress in your body. And I think it's the mix in the gym owners, or whatever, the managers of the facilities. It's exactly the same. Like, the humans will act in a accident situation. So they attack, they defend, or they run, whatever, and it's absolutely linked to the personal behaviors.
Yeah,
and
100%.
For me, it's a kind of a little bit. I can't say that, but it's a benefit, because I have a new membership right now. I have PT combined with boot camp outdoor, and right now I have a third offer, and that's online coaching, online classes. Yeah, and I have a new menu of my services right now. I created a new one, and it's nice to have. And I don't care if there are 5 or 15 people in my Zoom. It's the same work. And I was very quick with my, I do Zoom from tomorrow on. There was the information of shutdown, we can't work anymore. And the next day in the morning, I delivered my first 30-day body weight program. And right now in the second round with a kettlebell home workout. So we had 30 days and they decided to buy some kettlebells. And right now everyone has a kettlebell at home. And now I'm delivering the kettlebell home workout. And it creates a new community because they learned the basics of doing kettlebell. They had a lot of time. They are very thankful for this opportunity to spend so much time with a kettlebell and to be, and you know a kettlebell very well, but you need some hours and hours how to handle it, and they now feel comfortable and they can bring it now to the outdoor training, and I do not have to sanitize it. So there are a lot of benefits with this idea. And I'm not a smart guy, you know me, Gavin, I'm not smart, but this one was a very nice move.
Yeah, it's a great move. It's you know what, it becomes that middle bracket as well. And say PTs $70, $80, $100 a week, this middle bracket of $30 a week, where maybe they mightn't do face-to-face, but if you can get people in there and you can have 30 people paying $30 a week, and then you start giving a bit of education, you've got to know a product line that is not necessarily service for hours, but it's got the potential to have an exponential relationship. And that in any membership site is the way to go. You've got your blueprint, your middle level, where it's perceived service, which is good. That's where you want your numbers. You get 1,000 people at $30 a week. That's not too bad an income on a weekly basis.
Yeah, but that's and now to be serious a little bit more. But this is very smart because I am, as a premium personal trainer, I delivering a premium service for around 100 euros an hour. And right now, I'm attacking the discounter guys because maybe someone, I think a lot of people learn that they are able to be physical active still at home, and they do not need a gym. Yeah. So, and maybe they want to stick at home, and I totally enlarge my target group because I'm here in Hamburg. The people know me in Hamburg, and they join my classes because whatever they heard about me or blah blah blah. Right now, I'm enlarged my group, not maybe global because I'm teaching in German right now, but I'm thinking about to deliver classes in English because it's the whole world.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. That's right. And that's where I suppose it's, like I said at the start, it's where's the opportunity? And for that exact level of thinking, there's massive opportunity available. And people are going to be like, we've had clients who say, great, when I travel overseas, now we can keep on training. And we've got this middle tier. People are thinking differently, and the world won't be the same. I know they've turned around to my wife already, and she normally travels into the city in Sydney to work. And they've said, look, you've only got to come in 2 days a week into the office. Outside of that. So she's like, wow, they've said it's working. It's so, there's going to be big opportunities. I love it. Yep, that's the thinking.
For a lot of industries, it's hard to do, but the office workers, I think things will change. You do not have to rent so much space in the city. Yeah, you can just, here in Germany, they think about, okay, let's meet on Monday and let's meet on Thursday for 2 hours, and that's it. So they reduce the space in very, very little small conference rooms, and that's it. And they meet up there and they do the other stuff on Zoom or whatever, team meetings, and that everybody loves it. Yeah, everybody loves it. Why should I sit in an office when I'm able to do and deliver maybe in a relaxed mood? The same quality or better.
And if we think about the business opportunity for us here, my staff, they're all working distant. So what I can do for your business is I could come in, and every Tuesday at 11:30, we'll do an energy break for you and your team. It'll be about a 5 to 10 minute block, and they can all come in on Zoom session, and they're like, wow, so you're getting my team together. What energy? Wow, I'm offering something that brings them in and it makes them want to be part of my company. Might be every Tuesday and every Thursday. And you can offer that to so many corporates then to try and help engage their staff. And we've all got corporates, like you mentioned, a premium product, and there's people who've got staff that work for them. There's big opportunities just sitting on the table for all of us here.
The energy break, I really love the idea. Yeah, because if you're delivering health programs for companies, yeah, you have to move there, or you have to send out a trainer to do the whatever yoga, workout, mobility session. And right now it's at 11 o'clock. So everybody moves up in the office. We do some mobility for your hip or your spine or whatever. And after 5 minutes of moving, okay, bye-bye guys, see ya. Yeah, this is a very nice opportunity right now. Yeah. Do you deliver this?
Yeah, we've got some of our studios putting it in place with their clientele at the moment. Like literally one email came in, hey, who's been doing the corporates? And yes, because it can be done. If everyone does go back to the office, you can still do it via Zoom for them. But if everyone works from their homes, you can still do it for their staff. And if anything, it's probably even more effective when their staff are at home, because it means their staff have to log in. And me as a boss, I'm going, okay, who's on there and who isn't? Because I'm still paying your wage. And I've said you should be on here. So it allows me to have a big brother without, basically calling them out.
Well, this is, smart idea. So I've wrote it down and I keep it in mind because this is a very nice argument when I'm offering the next corporate with a company. In the long term, and you're, I don't know how many years, 25 years in the industry now. Yeah, in the long term, what do you think
31.
The impact? 31.
Yeah.
Just 38 years old.
Thank you very much, mate. I was fishing for that. I was fishing for it.
In the long term, how do you see the impact of the situation of the industry side? Because we're working for Life Fitness too. Yeah, and it's a global player. And what happens in Australia? So we're waiting on equipment because China is a little bit late. So what's your situation? What's the long-term forecast?
Yeah, I think we're going to see. It's really, if there's going to be a second wave, then it's going to push everything out again. Because say we didn't have a second wave, if we just use that as day zero now. So if we didn't have a second wave, I would say that we're probably looking at 12 months. As to a degree you've indicated, over the next 6 months, we're probably going to have facilities closed. We're going to have people, even though they say, hey, you can open the doors, the restrictions on trade are so significant that it makes it hard to be profitable. Because people are like, oh, do I want to wait around? Do I want to do that? It's where the online's not going away. And people want convenience. And if we can deliver them convenience still at home for the next 6 months, until there's an actual a cure, until they do get a cure for this, or a vaccine, then there's going to be a demand online. So I believe at least for 6 to 12 months, we're possibly still going to see attrition of fitness facilities globally. And that's if we don't have a second wave. If we've got a second wave, it's going to push out even further. So there is going to be attrition of facilities. But with that comes opportunities in other areas. I mean, to a degree, we've said to our network, hey, look, in 2 weeks' time, they will be able to open because they're smaller studios. Bigger fitness facilities, they may open them at the same time. We've still got to see. But the restriction of trade is so significant for them. Like, if you look at being able to fit 12 people into an Anytime Fitness here, which are really big. So say we've got 250 square meters of floor space and you could fit in 12 to 15 people. Well, it'd be great if you could do it throughout 12 hours of the day, but we can't. We know there's still the peak times that people want to come in. People are going to suspend. People are going to drop off, and it's going to have some lasting ramifications for our industry. I feel, and it's quite an awful way to look at it, but if somebody does have cash on their side, there's going to be some fitness facilities that come on the market for sale, which are probably really good opportunities for somebody because they're going to be selling them at a lower price, which sounds negative, but if someone's got the opportunity and the money, it's there. But I believe there'll be a flow-on effect for us. And some are going to struggle where others can really start to draw the benefit out of it.
I could talk for hours with you, Gavin, because we're jumping from one to the other, and I think, oh, I have to talk about this. I have to ask that. I have an idea for this. So just one thing: to sign in for the classes, for the slots in the gyms, you need your mobile here, and you have to book it because it must be personalized. You need your name and your address and blah blah blah, and it's frustrating, because if you try, they open the check-in 24 hours before, and if they open the slot, you must be online, and then you can book the slot. And if you can't catch the slot, you miss the opportunity for a workout again. So for me, it must be very frustrating. And then I have an hour. Maybe I'm a strong power lifter and I need more than 2.5 hours in the gym to lift things up and put things down. Maybe that's possible. I said, guys, I'm just warmed up. I need my workout now. No, please, sir, leave. Sorry, but that's very frustrating. So I would stay at home, buy 300 kilograms of plates and do my shit at home because I do not want to get frustrated. So this is a huge problem. But on the other hand, you have the people who really wants to join the community, and because they need it as a family and friend place. This is we're losing this, and this is for a lot of people much more important than the possibility of have a good workout. Just stick together and join each other. And this is we're losing the community, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? And we really haven't spoken about that side enough. And that's like, I know through working with Paul a lot, who you've had on discussing this also, one of the things that Paul talks about is a study that they looked at where people were at a fitness facility and they were getting their results, but it wasn't that much fun and the community wasn't that good. And they looked at the retention in that facility versus one where people were training and getting results. People were at a facility training, getting results, but it wasn't that much fun. And other people were at a facility not getting results, but it was fun. It had good community, and the retention at the place where they weren't getting results was higher. And it is such a critical component of the experience because it's another one that Paul says as well. The reason people join and the reason people stay is very different to the reason people leave. People join because they think they want fat loss. It's ironic. If they're there 3 years later, it's like, hey, wait up, either the program didn't work or you're staying for a different reason. Theoretically, the fat loss for most people should take 6 months. So our memberships could go for 6 months, but there's obviously maintenance of it. But it's community is such a critical component. And chatting to you before we started, it's getting those online sessions. Like I know for our guys, when they've been doing the Saturday online group training sessions, and I've kept it open. They've said, all right, guys, if you live close by, we've put some money at the local cafe. Shoot down, pick up the coffee that we've paid for you, grab it, duck back home and jump on Zoom and let's just hang around and have a chat. And people are hanging around for 30, 45 minutes and they're all just having their coffee, either made at home or grabbed it from the cafe the studio paid for, and just having a chat. And they've had trivia nights, and the trivia nights have been massive that they've been running through Zoom as well, just to keep that community going. And that's, community is such an integral part of what we do. It's all our industry is about feeling and emotion. It's not actually about the 5 kilograms. It's about that feeling and, feeling of how I'm going to feel when I lose it, but feeling how do I feel when I see my mates down the gym. It's so true.
Yeah. And the biggest bonding factor in the gym is the group X room.
Yeah.
So in Germany, there the people love the group exercise and the aims, the outcomes after 1 year spending in the group X room is sometimes it's critical. You have the less milled stuff. It works very well, but sometimes it's fun. And I delivered it for years, because I really loved the group X idea, but at the end, the metrics at your body are not reaching the results that you expected sometimes. But hey, if you move for 3 hours in a group X room and you move your body, and you meet friends and you had a lot of fun and you smile like you right now, Gavin, and taking a shower, going home and do some Zumba and you're in a happy mood, I'll think it's much more important than a measured whatever and a very metric based, data based workout session, because we have different type of persons with different motivators. And these are differentiating the target groups, I think, on hard borders. Gavin,
well, that's going to become even more important now with the amount of depression that's going to come out the other end of this pandemic. That's the really problematic second wave. And if we can create community, then that's going to be massive. It's more important, as you've just said, than the workout, especially for us into the future.
These are wise words and close to the end. For my part here, I would really love to do a second call with you in 8 weeks. To talk about what changed in your situation, what's the market right now, what are the reactions of the members, what's the change? Maybe if you have time again for me and for the viewers here of the podcast, it would be a big pleasure. And in my podcast, I define the end of the show. It's every time the same. So I'll say bye-bye to the community, and the last words are for the wise guys on the other side, on the opponent side of the camera. So from my point of view, Gavin, it was a pleasure to talk to Australia, to see you in very good shape again. I expected that, but to see you smiling. You're always a positive guy with a lot of energy. So I'm very happy to welcome you here on the show, and I wish you all the best for you and sure, your family. And so I say bye-bye, and please, you have 1 minute 30 seconds to go. You don't have to use it, but I'm out. Gavin, it's on you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, and I'm honored.
Absolute pleasure, Mark. Thank you. And I suppose my final thing would really, in a time of adversity that we're in, and as Mark said, we all think different ways, and I've got to remember that sometimes, but it is a time of adversity. And if you do need help, make sure you go find someone and have a chat to somebody. But trying to look at the adversity and think, where does the opportunity sit within this adversity? Because there's a lot of change. When change happens, there's opportunity present for us. And so please, as I said, if you're suffering adversity and it's having a major issue, go find some professional help. For those of us that are able to take that adversity and think, okay, where can I see it? I might have been a victim to this, but now I'm going to look for the opportunity that's hidden within it. Please look at that, because there is a lot of opportunity out there in the marketplace, and big opportunity. And things are going to be changing, as we've said, over the next 6, 12, 18 months. It's not going to go back to being the same in the next couple of weeks. So please jump in, find the opportunity. It'll put a smile on your dial if you do, because you're looking at things a different way. You're looking at the positive side that you can take out of it. Mark, thank you so much for having me on board. To all of you out there, good luck with everything. And I look forward to the opportunity to chat to you in the upcoming weeks and months. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gavin. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Bye.